Just a quick follow-up to that question. I'm Brad Peck, Franklin County Commissioner. I think I know a lot of you guys. I'm also a retired Air Force officer. Spent a lot of time in the Middle East. I hope you're not saying that by no mail-in ballots that you'd exclude the military as well.
No.
Please clarify.
Of course I would not exclude the military. I've already said. And please go on your computers and look at the MOVE Act. And look what Eric Holder's doing to our military. No, we got to have mail-in ballots for our military. Yes, sir. If we got military overseas, yes. There is a reason for mail-in. But for us here in the local communities in the state, we got to be going to the polls. Because there is a lot of fraud. Just look at the first gubernatorial race with Dino and Gregoire. And they kept, and believe me, there's another thing I want to do here. I want King County to count first and get it right the first time because you're not going to get a second chance. And then the rest of us will count.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I said in hardship, I mean, obviously when you're away and you're traveling, that would be a great example. And if you're in the military, which thank you for your service, Brad, that's huge. I know there's lots of veterans in here as well. And yes, absolutely, that to me is an obviosity. When you're away from town and you can't vote, you should be able to use a mail-in ballot.
Well, the illegals wouldn't be in the military.
Yeah, but so it wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, folks, well, Leon has another question right in front of you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi guys, again. How open will your doors be if you get elected?
I'm handing out my card for this campaign. It has a direct phone line to me. When people send me an email and you leave your phone number, I call you back. Because that's how important it is. I want it to be open. Some of the best ideas I've come up with are from the people. The answer machine, that wasn't my idea. That was from the people. The envelope is from the people. Here's another idea from the people. You know, when I grew up, I used to be able to work. We can't even work our youth anymore. When I try and hire kids from town to come out and work on the farm, L&I shows up, they give me a list of what they can do and a list they can't do, and then they want to inspect everything on the farm. It's a deterrent to hire our youth. We got to be able to get back to working our youth so they develop a work ethic and that self-gratification of earning that dollar and whether they spend it or save it. I mean, these are all life lessons that they need to learn, okay? But until then, we need a workforce. So, as they come across the border, an independent businessman right here creates a business, keeps track of all of those people that comes across the border, finds out who they're working for, a guest worker, 1 year guest worker program, finds out who they're working for, and then when they get their check, half of it's sent to this agency, created by you. One of these, it's a private sector. That's the money that's waiting at the border for them to go back home. That's the incentive for them to go back home in pesos, not American dollars. Until we can wean ourselves of this workforce from the South and start working our kids again, which is going to be another state's issue that we got to overcome with L&I.
So the question is, how accessible I'll be? Well, again, always lead by example. Here you go. You call my company right now, and you tell them you want to talk to the president of a multi-million-dollar international product development company with 2,000 distributors all over the world, and they'll give you my cell phone instantly with no questions asked. Just to show you how much I mean about that, go get the flyer back there on our table. My cell phone's in there. Not the campaign phone. Oh, that's there too. But right underneath my picture, under the word listen, is my cell phone. Here you go. Remember I said, if you find one person to say something bad about me, don't vote for me. Here's the next one. If I don't return your call in 24 hours, don't vote for me. Try it. See what happens. Thank you.
Leon, there's a lady right here by the door that has a question.
She's going to do it. Watch this. Find out whether or not I'm a slick salesman. There you go.
While you're doing the call, yes ma'am, go right ahead.
And the phone's on, mind you. I didn't even turn it off.
I'm sorry. Sir.
Okay, Arizona Governor Burr was catching a lot of heat from the federal government. What the federal government should be doing.
Oh, look at that. The phone's ringing.
Okay, we got to do a test. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Mr. Governor, if you could cover the senator, What are you gonna do about sanctuary cities that defy the federal government and they get federal funding, like the city of San Francisco?
Cut their federal funding. That's what we have to the House of Representatives, because they're the ones that appropriates the fundings, okay? But yes, Jan Brewer, God bless her, she's a woman with grit. She's standing up and taking on Barack Obama and this regime. They passed their law, they're sticking by it. Thank God somebody has the courage to stand up and fight this, because this is the federal government's responsibility, and it's this law that they passed is a watered down version of the federal law. Because now they have to have a reasonable cause to pull them over. Before, with the federal, all you have to have is a skin killer could be a reason to pull them over. They watered it down. And they're calling it unconstitutional. Again, they're not following the game plan. Okay, the 10th Amendment, states' rights supersede the federal government. We, the country, have all got to get behind Arizona. We, the people, we got to show them our power behind them and give them encouragement. Stay true, keep working. We need more states to take on this task. We, the state of Washington, need to take on the same task with Arizona.
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Pardon me?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
He says so-called sanctuary cities like San Francisco
Yeah.
and Colorado.
Well, I'm against that.
They get federal funding.
Yeah, I'm 100% against it. Jan Brewer is my hero. Chris Christie is my hero. I want people that are gutsy, that have a backbone, and will stand up for common sense. My grandparents immigrated from Greece in 1913. They came here with nothing. They did it legally. This is a country of law and order, period. There are no exceptions. That's just the way it is. That's the way I think, and that's the way we will have a thriving country. But as long as we make all these exceptions, we're never going to win. I'll give you an example. When I travel abroad, I always have my passport with me. Why? Because it's required. When I walk into a hotel, I have to surrender my passport. I don't just give it to them, they take it. When I go to Costco, I have to show my card. When I go to the doctor, I have to show Social Security and my license. When I go to the airport, I have to show my ID. What is the big deal? This is common sense. I don't feel profiled. That's what you have to do. It's that simple.
You had lots of good questions, and we encourage a few more. One right in the center here, Wayne.
And I got one back here.
Okay, thanks.
My question is, I came here as a person undecided. I find myself clapping every time both of you guys are talking. I can't check both boxes or it gets thrown out. So my question is, you did allude earlier that we do have some differences, so I'd like to maybe hear from both of you what the differences are between the two of you.
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, first of all, again, it's a little hard because we both like each other. I think Clint is an upstanding individual. The difference is proven leadership. You take someone like me, I have a long track record of significant accomplishment. Whether it be starting a company from nothing, my parents gave me nothing, building into an international company that creates manufacturing jobs. The last time I checked, all the manufacturing was going to China and India.
Yes.
That might be something significant that somebody might know how to retain those jobs here. One. Number two, I'm an expert in lean manufacturing. People come from all over the world to see what I'm doing. That might suggest that my business acumen, my intelligence, and my capacity to come up with creative solutions would attract people in Congress to say, hey, check out how Akers is doing that. That's pretty cool. When the truth of the matter is that gentleman in the back that said it's always about me, about me, about me. Of course, you know what? All my ideas come from other people. I pay them royalties. They're not my ideas. Lean is all about listening to other people. It is not about me. Those are pretty doggone good characteristics from a U.S. Senator, someone who loves to listen, believes that other people have capacity. There's the difference.
You're not going to hear a lot of differences on policy. Quite frankly, as a farmer, I'm a businessman. And I take on the toughest opponent, Mother Nature. And I don't always win, but I never give up. I've had a pretty experienced life. I've been part of a union, the National Football League Players Association, of which I stood up and told them back in '82 that 54% or 55% etched in stone sounds terribly selfish. I said, we need to be striking for the pre-59ers, the guys that played before us that don't get nothing, no retirement, no medical, no nothing. My fellow teammates told me to sit down and shut up. I was trying to be a leader. I was trying to tell them that if we took care of them, we'll be taking care of ourselves down the road. They told me to sit down and shut up, and today, my fellow teammates are all complaining because they don't have no medical, they don't have no retirement. Now, I've also been coaching young men, our future leaders. Just won a state championship last year, so I know how to motivate and stimulate people to do beyond. I've also talked to 8 people in our state already through my travels to run for office. They came up and gave me their testimony after they heard me speak the first time. They said, you motivated me to run for office. So those are my qualifications. There's not a lot of differences in policy, but believe me, we're both good men. So you're just gonna have to make that tough decision.
Yeah, and I'm Norm Nunn. My question is, you know, we have a bunch of politicians up in Washington that are holding a hammer over our heads. It's this it's the income tax extension. Now, how are you going to vote when you get there? But what's the right answer?
On taxation, I've already signed the pledge. No new taxes, no increase in taxes. In fact, if we want to get this economy back on track, let's just look back in history. On the hand of the man I shook after Super Bowl 17, Ronald Reagan, he lowered tax rates. He gave incentives for businesses to grow and create jobs. He gave incentives for people to risk and create a business. This is what it's going to take. We've got to re-energize America, this industrial machine. We've got a hat right here that's made in China. We've got everything you look at today is being brought in. Today, 51% of your food that you consume is being brought in from overseas, with no regard of herbicide, pesticide. We got sheetrock coming in from China that's rebuilt Louisiana, they're getting sick. We got toys coming in from China with lead paint that we've been banned from using in America. We got cattle coming in from Canada, and they just had another BSE, mad cow disease. Where is the concern for the American people? We got to start this industrial machine back up, and how we're going to do it is by deregulating these companies and let them run again. Let the cattle in the hills and get the grass chewed down so we don't have a forest fire that's uncontrollable. Get back to mining our resources here. Get back to pulling the oil out of the ground. Build refineries. Fire this machine back up and let us run.
My plan, again, is 10-3 lean. It's about cutting taxes. It's not about allowing new taxes. We actually want to roll it back by 27%. That's huge. Kennedy started this whole thing, cut top rates from 90 to 70%, and what happened? The coffers were filled. And then Reagan went in and did it again, cut it from 70 to 29, and the coffers were filled. We attracted capital from all over the world. And then, Clinton did it from 30 to 20% of capital gains. And not only did they take a $200 billion deficit, they turned it into a surplus. It's academic. What happens when you create a positive tax environment is people invest their money in that environment from all over the world. But right now, we have people running to all different countries. The other day, I was in a group, and it was a Polish couple. They'd come here 20 years ago, and they told me something that astounded me. Their community was moving back to Poland because it was better to live in Poland now than the United States. There you go. That's simple.